and welcome to our English news edition coming to you from Canal, Algérie. First, to the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives a phone call from his Tunisian counterpart, Qais Said, and condolences messages from the Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who offer their inmost sympathy following the devastating fires. Instructed by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, along with a ministerial delegation, heads to Taraf province to inquire about the situation, to present the President's condolences and announce the compensation of the victimized families as well. A heavy death toll in Taraf province with 37 victims so far, and the state's great efforts are conspicuous on the ground. Good evening, those are today's top stories. First, in our news, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Thursday a phone call from his brother, the President of Tunisia, Qais Said, during which he presented him on his behalf and on behalf of the Tunisian people his sincere condolences for the victims of the wildfires which broke out in several provinces of the country, reiterating Tunisia's solidarity with Algeria and its readiness to help. For his part, the President of the Republic thanked his brother, President Qais Said, and the brotherly Tunisian people for the sincere feelings of support and brotherhood, while hailing the deeply rooted relations binding the two brotherly peoples. The President of the Republic received on Thursday a condolences message from his brother, the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, in which he expressed his sincere condolences and feelings of compassion to the families of the victims of the wildfires, wishing a speedy recovery for the injured. The President of the Republic received on Thursday a message from his Palestinian counterpart Mahmoud Abbas, in which he expressed his sincere condolences and compassion to the families of the victims of the wildfires which hit several eastern provinces of the country. Following the instructions of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman headed along with a ministerial delegation to Taraf to inquire about the damage caused by the fires which seriously hit the province. More details with Ines Killo.
The fires, which affected several provinces of the country, were unfortunately not without consequences. The Prime Minister, Ayman bin Abdurrahman, went to the region of Al-Brabtiya in the municipality of Al-Qala, where he presented the condolences of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, to the families of the victims of the forest fires and his wishes of a swift recovery to the injured. He announced on the spot that the compensation of the victims of the forest fires will start as soon as the damage is completely assessed. On behalf of the President of the Republic and all the members of the government, I present our deepest condolences to the families of the victims, and I would like to assure you that the state will unfailingly support all the people who have been affected by these fires. It is a natural disaster that affects all countries in the world. I would also like to hail the efforts made by the Directorate of Civil Defense, the General Directorate of Forest Services, and all the units involved in the fight against fires, especially with regard to the monitoring and prevention system put in place. But unfortunately, we couldn't avoid these tragedies. We are very affected by what happened. We regret the recorded human losses, and we will do our best to reduce the suffering of the bereaved families and people affected. The ministerial delegation also visited the bedside of the wounded admitted to the Shahid Bouzid Ammar Hospital in Al-Qala to inquire about their condition and their care. And at the headquarters of the Civil Defense Department of Taraf, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman inquired about the means mobilized by the civil defense units to face the fires. He also listened to detailed explanations about the situation of the area hit by the fires. The state has put in place all the necessary devices and mechanisms to prevent this kind of disasters. All the provinces have squads of civil defense and forest protection, and even security services. They are actively involved in this fight, and we thank them for their efforts. I also hail the efforts of the National People's Army elements, who mobilized helicopters alongside those of the civil defense to fight these fires.
كل القطاعات تتكاتف وتكثف جهودها من أجل القضاء على هذه الكوارث.
President Tebboune assured the support of the state and the full mobilization of the various services to deal with the fires and the injured, and call on all citizens to be more vigilant.
In the same context, and following the wildfires which broke out in several forests of the eastern provinces of the country, namely Ataraf, Soqahras, Skikda, Bijaya, Serif, Jijil, and Annaba, in the 5th Military Region, the High Command of the National People's Army mobilized several helicopters belonging to the Air Forces to help in the extinguishing operations, especially in the harsh areas, despite the winds which are making the task difficult in some forest areas. The National People's Army is sparing no effort in providing all material and human means to fully extinguish the fires. And a heavy death toll so far in the province of Taraf, where dozens perished following these devastating fires, which were behind a huge material damage. Sabrita Ferganit has the details.
The death toll of the raging wildfires increased to 30 victims, including 11 children, 6 women and 13 men, while 160 people were injured through the 13 municipalities of Al Tarf province severely affected by this catastrophe. In addition to that, the majority of fires are under control. Some of them are being kept under surveillance. In total, 29 zones were hit and 14,000 hectares completely destroyed, a toll that is expected to change once the damage is completely assessed. The efforts made to stop the fast spreading were faced by strong winds, along with steep paths. Civil defense agents, forest services, and National People's Army were mobilized to put an end to the devastating fires in forest zones and the concerned villages. On the other hand, the majority of high-risk areas' inhabitants were evacuated. Injured people received the necessary care in the region's hospitals. The General Forest Directorate set up cells of vigilance in coordination with the civil defense, aiming to avoid such catastrophes. A mobilization operation took place, and it concerns 149 foresters, 67 seasonal workers, along with 17 trucks, 8 mobile columns, 5 vehicles, and 4 watchtowers. Even if the situation is under control, the concerned units fighting fires are always vigilant and ready to face any possible situation.
In Soqahras province, 8 wildfires broke out, causing the death of 5 people and considerable material damage. Sabarinta Ferganit once again.
Not less than 8 fire centers broke out in Soqahras province. Zarouria forest was the most affected. Al-Mashrouha and Mashtad al-Nafra wildfires were also dramatically sparked. One of these spread to a city of 400 housing units. Total panic and fear were definitely present that day. 5 people are reported dead, including 2 women and 3 children of the same family. 45 suffering from injuries. 4 of them are slightly burned. At least 28 people were affected by the smoke. All of them were transferred to hospitals for the necessary treatment. Immense efforts are made by civil defense agents to stop the spreading, along with the help of citizens taking part in a voluntary operation. The main unit of civil defense, supported by the advanced post of Soqahras and the secondary unit of Tawra and Haddada, along with the mobile columns of Soqahras, Bouaghi and Bissa provinces, intervened to extinguish the ravaging fires. Civil defense services mobilized 28 fire trucks along with 88 elements. Firefighters succeeded to put an end to several wildfires hitting different municipalities such as Oulad Moumen and Ain Zana. Intervention operations are underway to put an end to this dreadful nightmare.
In Serif province, 10 outbreaks have been reported, the elements of the Civil Defense and the Forest Directorate are working around the clock, and a crisis unit was installed in Constantine Province for a better coordination and the smooth running of the extinguishing operations. 19 fires were also reported in the province of Galma, where all material and human means are mobilized to control these fires and prevent their spread. 50% of Galma province has been affected by the fires, which destroyed an important forest in the region. Helicopters belonging to the National People's Army are mobilized to back the elements of civil defense, and 90% of the fires have been controlled so far. According to a press release issued by the Justice Ministry, and following the fires which hit several provinces of the country, resulting in several deaths and the complete destruction of forests and civilian houses, the Public Prosecutor's Office ordered the opening of judicial investigations against an unknown person on the previously mentioned facts in order to determine the fires if they are of a criminal origin, and if so, identifying the perpetrators, whose prosecution would be in accordance with the law of the Republic. Pursuant to the instructions of the President of the Republic, 80 tons of humanitarian aid were shipped to Senegal on board of 3 planes of the National People's Army for the benefit of the victims of the floods which occurred in some Senegalese regions. Story by Ines Killu.
The shipment of humanitarian aid for the flood victims in Senegal has been delivered to the Senegalese Ministry of Health, where the Algerian delegation was given a warm and official welcome. On behalf of the President of the Republic of Senegal, Macky Sall, and the Senegalese people, I thank the Algerian government and the Algerian Red Crescent for their support. On Wednesday morning, 3 Algerian Air Force planes landed on Dakar International Airport with food packages, pharmaceutical and medical products, and other basic items. Apart from humanitarian duty and solidarity, this aid expresses the depth of the relations between the two brotherly Algerian and Senegalese people. It is with great honor and pleasure that we receive this generous gift from the Algerian Republic through the Algerian Red Crescent. A spontaneous donation following the last floods occurred on August 5th. Today, August 17, we receive a donation of 80 tons of medicines and rescue equipments and food products intended for the Senegalese people. On this occasion, and on behalf of the Senegalese people, I present my thanks to the Algerian President and the Algerian people. As a reminder, last Tuesday, a shipment of more than 80 tons was transported from the Boufarik military base to Dakar.
Ahead of the commemoration of the double anniversary of the 20th of August, massive attacks carried out on the Constantine department in 1955, as well as the Somam Congress in 1956, celebrated this year under the framework of the 60th anniversary of independence. A ceremony was held on Thursday at the premises of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. After raising the national flag, singing of the national anthem, and reciting Al-Fatiha, or the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, a wreath of flowers was laid in the memory of our martyrs. On the same occasion, the National People's Army carried out an operation to name several establishments after martyrs of the glorious Liberation War. On Thursday, Major General Ali Sidan, commander of the 1st Military Region, chaired the naming operation of the 3rd Alternate Corps Facility in Blida Province belonging to the 1st Military Region, which is now bearing the name of Martyr Boutalbi Al-Arbi, whereas the Transit Center for Military Personnel was named after the martyr bin Ahmed Ali Al-Aslawi Muhammad. The ceremony took place in the presence of high-ranking military officials as well as family members of the martyrs, who were offered symbolic gifts on the occasion. And finally, Algeria ended the Islamic Solidarity Games held in the Turkish city of Konya with 42 medals, including 7 gold ones, thanks to the last day competitions, which were very rewarding and offered our country more distinctions. Congratulations to our athletes. And with this, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for joining us.